Hey guys, what's going on? I just thought I'd show you something today that I use for concealed carry a lot. You know, there's as many proponents, I think, for this maker of pistol as there are opponents for it. So, without further ado, this is my Glock 27 that I use for concealed carry. Actually, just one of them. Also use the titanium 38 if you want to look back on my installments and look at the titanium 38 made by Taurus. I go over that as well. That is also a pretty good concealed carry. But I wanted something also that had a higher capacity or that had a potential for higher capacity, and the Glock is it. Let's see. Let me do this. Okay, this is good. Just go over it like I always do, guys. Glock 27, 40 cal. This breaks down just like your other normal Glocks. And if you've never broken down a Glock, it's pretty simple. You just pull the receiver back like this, one-handed, like that, about a third of the way back. Be careful not to pinch yourself in the slide. Pull down these two detents. There's two little, um, like little levers or detents on the side of this Glock. Pull it back, let the slide go. Now, pull the trigger while gripping the your top receiver, upper receiver, whatever you want to call it, slide, and just slide it off. It separates pretty easy. And you've got your recoil spring, or I like to call it buffer spring, even though it's not an M16. You got your barrel, slides out, slides back in fairly easy. There's not a whole lot to these Glocks. That's why I like them as much as I do for what they're worth. They're really easy to field strip. I mean, if you're, they're great for military applications. If you're in the field, you can break them down 2 seconds, clean them, and then you're oil them and you're out of there. Now, put it back together. There's these two little notches on the side of the lower receiver. Just line this up with the rear of your slide. There's two little notches on either side of that. And if you buy one, it has a manual and it goes over this, but this is how you do it also. Line those notches up, pull the slide all the way back a couple times. Just make sure, extra sure it's clear. Safety first. And I like to pull the trigger to make sure there's nothing in it. I know some people don't like to do that, but I do it. I know nothing's in here because I check it 200 times, before I go on and do a video. But guys, always be safety conscious. If you are going to clear your weapon and pull the trigger, just make sure it's not pointed at you or anybody else, at the ground, uh, at the sky, a tree, a big bale of hay, a berm, anything. You want to handle a firearm safely at all times. Even if you know it's not loaded, you still treat it as it is loaded. That way, if something were to happen and you were to have a misfire, hopefully nobody's going to get hurt or no property is going to get damaged. So that being said, let's get back to the topic. Um, Easy to break down. You don't want to use a whole lot of oil on these. You don't really have to clean them that much. I mean, hate to say it, but I've let mine go, a month or two in between a month or two in between cleanings, and I didn't have any problems. Other than that, it's a lighter weight pistol. It is a Glock 27, so it's a small frame. Glocks have the polymer lower receiver, which reduce the weight, and this Glock can, like all the other Glocks, can take a full-size, high-capacity Glock magazine. I have a 15-round magazine, load it up if you need it. You've also got more area to grip the pistol with. You have that extended magazine, and I use that to hold on to it when I fire it or go out to the range. It gives me just a little bit more to hold on to. I mean, I have regular size hands. They're not really overly long or Sasquatchy like, but I do have kind of wide palms. I guess that's just some of the Native American blood I have in me. Not long hands, but just kind of wide hands. So sometimes if you use the factory magazine, such as these, the little 9 rounders, it's kind of it's kind of a pain in the ass to hold on to. It's not real bad, but I'm scared all the time that if I do use these factory mags that it's just going to jump out of my hands, because it's not a 9mm, it's a 40 cal. It's a little bit more recoil, not yards more, but a little bit more. With that being said, though, guys, if you use the factory magazines like I do, just because it came with the pistol, and hell, why not use it? Go ahead and spend the extra money and get you these little pinky rests that you can buy for the Glock magazines. You can use them with the full size magazines, but ideally they're for the basically miniature magazines. This is a 9 rounder, and I'll show you when you load it up. You have that little pinky rest on here. It just gives your pinky somewhere to rest, and you can. I feel as if you can hold on to the pistol that much better when you have the pistol in your hand using the factory 9 round magazines. So I don't know, they're about $20 a piece. They are kind of expensive, but they are worth it, and it makes a pistol look cool, I think, too. Now, one of the things I didn't like, for some reason or other, this pinky rest was a really major, big pain in the ass to put on this magazine. When I got it, I tried like, crazy for a couple months to try to get that sucker on here. I couldn't get off the factory floor plate. No matter how much I tried, I had a friend try it. He couldn't do it either. So, I don't know if you can see the little detent. You got to push in the detent, guys. And the floor plate should slide right off. Although there are 2 notches and teeth on each side of the magazine. You can't see it, but it's right about there that kind of hold the magazine in place. My friend swore up and down his came off easy, so I let him try to put this one on. He didn't have any luck. So I said, hell with it. Finally, I just took a flathead screwdriver, and I wouldn't recommend this, and I popped the factory floor plate off. And surprisingly, I didn't really damage anything. Now, I've marred up just a little bit of the magazine right here. You can't really tell, and it's not bad. It doesn't hinder function or performance at all. Didn't hurt it, but it just kind of looks dogged up and gnarly. But it still works with no problem. Um, but like I said, if you can't get it, get somebody else to do it before you try that. I had to do that, and slid this right on, slid your pinky rest on, and wiggled it around. The detent popped in place. It's fine, but for me, I needed it, and that's what I recommend. You know, get one. It's worth the $20 or whatever it's worth. Um, like I said, some of the things I do like about the Glock, it is lightweight, high capacity. Magazines can be used with it. It's compact. It can be really well hidden. Carry it in your car if you don't want to carry it on you. It doesn't take up a whole lot of room, and it's pretty accurate for a small frame 40 caliber pistol. I was satisfied with its accuracy. I mean, some people, I know there's a lot of people out there who don't like Glocks, who rather have a SIG. I like both of them. I've had a SIG. I like my SIG, but I like my Glock better. You're paying just like a SIG. When you pay for a Glock, you're paying for quality, guys. This is not a cheap crapola pistol. This is a good, well-made weapon. But other than that, some of the things I don't like about it is the safety, or actually, guys, lack of a safety. There is no safety on a Glock except um, right here on the trigger. I don't know if you can see it. It's a little tiny lever right here. Um, that's a trigger safety. If that's not fully depressed, it won't go off. I'm pressing it right now, the side of the trigger with my finger. It's not going off. Now, if you fully depress the lever as if you were going to fire at a target, and then pull the trigger, press the trigger, we hear the firing pin or the hammer hit the firing pin. Now, why Glock put this on here, I've thought about, and I really don't have an answer for you. Why they couldn't have put a little safety or something right in here, I don't know. I have no idea, guys, why Glocks don't have safeties on them. If somebody could answer that, throw that in the comment area. But other than that, that's why I recommend these pistols for military and police applications. certainly if you're a civilian, you can buy one. There's nothing that says you can't. But if you probably don't want to make this your first pistol buy, guys, or weapon buy. Um, you want something that has a safety on it. If you're not well experienced with firearms, I've had quite a bit of firearms training in the military and privately, and I'm fairly confident, really 100% confident that I could get by with a Glock, or any pistol that doesn't have a safety on it. But when people always ask me, well, what do you recommend for personal defense? I always recommend a pistol that has a safety on it, just because I don't know their level of training. They may be novices and then they may be experts. I don't know. I always tell them, if I were you, I'd get something with a safety on it, or a revolver type pistol like a 38 Special. And I do have a review on my 38 Special, which is also a great concealed weapon. Um, just like the Glock, it's lightweight. But anyway, check it out. It should be still here on YouTube. But other than that, guys, there's not much to it. I just wanted to show you what I carry when I'm carrying a concealed weapon. These don't. One other thing, these don't come with night sights. These are the high vis 3-dot sights. Actually, it's a 1-dot sight. The rear sight is high vis. Front sight is a dot, and you just line them up, shoot. But if you want to put night sights on it, that's cool. Night sights are pretty expensive. You could probably get by just with what's on the factory, what comes with it. But other than that, guys, that's about it. I just want to show it to you, see what you think. I know there's some people out there that are gonna say they don't like Glocks. Some people say they do like Glocks. I personally like them, but I also like SIGs too. And I know there's a big debate of which is better. So I think both of them have their own merits. It just depends on what you like. I myself chose a Glock 27, and that's probably what I'll stick with. So if there's anything you want to know about it, send me an email, put some comments on the comment area, and I'll try to get back with you guys. See you next time.